In Liuzhou, 270,000 trees are in full bloom, creating a sea of flowers across the city. Citizens flock to take photos, and many older Chinese women, or Dama, have used creative methods to compete with the flowers. Photos and videos circulating online show them using cranes to lift themselves over the flower beds, performing aerial yoga with hula hoops. Some even attempted aerial stunts like flips and splits, posing in front of the blooming trees for pictures. One commenter noted, "There's no limit to the craziness," while another pointed out that such activities could damage the floral display, questioning the sense of responsibility towards public spaces. The term Chinese Dama has become a reference to middle-aged and older women who sometimes act without self-restraint or consideration for others. The term has even entered English vocabulary. A quick search for Chinese Dama reveals controversies, from disruptive square dancing to queue jumping and hoarding free samples. Every cherry blossom season, many Dama gather to take photos, often sparking public debate. Several Dama climbed a cherry tree to take photos, causing an unusual scene where the tree appeared covered with them. The fragile tree shook beneath their weight. Eventually, a branch broke, causing them to fall. A Dama is seen lying on a cherry tree, excitedly saying, "Today I finally climbed a tree." The nearby person warns her, "Be careful, you might fall," but she responds, "I won't fall." A security guard witnessing the scene shakes his head and remarks that this behavior is quite common and hard to control. Two Dama climb a cherry tree simultaneously to take photos. In Changzhou, Jiangsu, a passerby noticed a Dama shaking a cherry blossom tree vigorously for a photo, leaving the once beautiful branches bare. A comment read, "It's not the blossoms that fall, but dignity." Amid blooming peach blossoms, a group of Dama shake branches forcefully to create a rain of flower petals. A commenter remarked, "Appreciating beauty is fine, but forcefully pulling branches is wrong. Lacks decency." In recent incidents, Chinese Dama have made headlines with controversial public behavior. In Haicheng, Liaoning, Dama were seen trampling on flower beds and picking flowers for photos, leaving the once lush, flower-covered trunks bare and littered with debris. A commenter remarked on the concerning lack of public courtesy. Disputes surrounding Dama dancing in public spaces are also common. Over 100 Dama gathered in the underground passage of Suzhou New District train station in Jiangsu. Their dancing occupied the entire walkway. The loud music startled passersby, with some nearly bumping into the dancers while trying to avoid them. Complaints to government department led to blame shifting, with each department claiming that it wasn't within their jurisdiction. Online, some mocked that such scenes are unmatched worldwide. On a train, Dama occupied the aisles and seats to dance to loud, rhythmic music, disturbing nearby passengers. Despite the train staff's repeated requests for them to quiet down, they ignored the warnings. In 2018, a group of Dama entered a hotel lobby in Nanjing to avoid the smog outside. There, they began dancing. The hotel staff, taken aback, tried to ask them to leave politely, but the dancers ignored them. The hotel eventually called the police, yet the Dama insisted that as residents of the neighborhood, they had the right to dance there, arguing that the government encouraged fitness activities. They danced for 40 minutes, only leaving after rebuking the hotel, saying, "Once the smog is gone, even if you invite us, we won't come back." In the early hours of 4 or 5 a.m., Dama began dancing with loudspeakers, waking nearby residents. When asked to lower the volume, they retorted defiantly. In another case, residents disturbed by loud music from dancing Dama tried to negotiate for lower volume and an earlier finish. The Dama dismissed this as meddling. Frustrated, a man played eerie sounds nearby in retaliation, explaining it was an eye for an eye. Elderly Mr. Zhang lives near a public square that's a popular gathering spot for Dama dancing groups. Initially, he wasn't opposed to the dancing. However, over time, he noticed the music getting louder, and the dance sessions extended later into the night, seriously affecting his sleep and daily life. After failed attempts to negotiate, Mr. Zhang decided to take matters into his own hands. He bought a high-powered speaker, intending to counteract the Dama's loud music. He reasoned, "If they ignore my attempts to talk, then I'll fight fire with fire, and disrupt them in the same way they disrupt me." His tactic had an impact. The Dama were unhappy with his chosen music, which led them to protest against Mr. Zhang, calling his actions immoral and asserting their right to use the public square. In response, Zhang retorted, "If it's a public space, you can't stop me from playing my music either." Angered, the Dama increased their volume to maximum in an escalating standoff. Some people criticize the authorities for not addressing the noise, leaving residents to solve these disputes themselves. A video on a Royal Caribbean cruise, Voyager of the Seas, shows Dama playing loud dance music at the pool, turning it into an impromptu dance session. This disrupted the peaceful vacation atmosphere. The clip stirred online debate, with many commenting that such behavior ruined the relaxed environment. Dama dancing openly on cruises isn't new. In December 2015, on Costa Cruises, a group of Dama danced vigorously on Christmas Eve. One commenter humorously noted, "You have to admit, these Dama are something else. They even have the men dancing. If not for the ocean outside, you'd think you were on a Shanghai street." Other Chinese lamented that traditional virtues such as benevolence, righteousness, and courtesy have been eroded in mainland society, leading to a lack of public decency. In a recent incident in Yingkou, Liaoning, Dama occupied a basketball court, clashing with young men who were there to play basketball. The Dama insulted the young players, calling them hooligans. When the Dama's music became too loud, nearby residents resorted to buying devices to block the signal. The video shows the Dama suddenly stopping mid-dance when their music abruptly cuts off, leaving them confused. In Nanchang, Guangxi, fed up with the loudspeakers, residents resorted to using water guns to disperse the Dama. In a public square, Dama set up 3 speakers to play music while dancing. Suddenly, bottles of ink were thrown at them, leaving their faces covered in ink. "We were stunned. We didn't see anything. Then I looked down and saw ink everywhere, even in our eyes and mouths." A photo recently surfaced showing a Dama washing her hair with shampoo in Fuxian Lake, Yunnan. The lake is a major drinking water source. Surrounded by people who ignored the scene, she washed her hair in her underwear. The lake has faced a surge of unsanitary behavior from tourists, such as bathing dogs, washing clothes, and dumping garbage. According to reports, Fuxian Lake is currently classified as a Category 1 drinking water source in China, meaning that many nearby residents rely on its water. However, as Fuxian Lake has become a popular tourist spot in recent years, numerous uncivil behaviors have emerged, such as tourists washing clothes, cars, and even playing with dogs in the lake. They're littering everywhere and cutting through fences in many areas. One netizen commented, "These aunties aren't the lowest quality people in China. The whole environment has reached this point. Who can demand others to uphold broken morals? When will China truly become a land of courtesy?" Another netizen remarked, "No water source has been damaged by bathing. If it's a drinking water source, tourism development shouldn't be allowed. Local governments are the one damaging the ecosystem. Corrupt officials are the main culprits polluting China's ecosystems." On a public bus, a Chinese woman took off her shoes and occupied a seat with her feet. Other passengers felt ashamed of her behavior and asked her to put her shoes back on and offer a seat to the children on board. She ignored this advice, asserting that since she paid, she could occupy as many seats as she wanted. Commenters remarked that she treated the bus as her personal space with no regard for others. In Wuhan, a Dama took off her shoes in a fast food restaurant, rubbing her feet on the table in plain sight. On a high-speed train in Hangzhou, a Dama took off her shoes to sort vegetables and talked loudly on speakerphone. On a train from Sanmenxia to Xi'an, a Dama rested her bare feet on the seat in front of her, causing the seat to shake with her movements and disturbing the passenger in front who was trying to rest. In a recent incident in Beijing, a mother defended her son's inappropriate behavior in a hotel lobby. When her 11-year-old son urinated on a sofa, staff attempted to address the situation, but the mother loudly declared, "My child is only 11 and doesn't know better. You're ruining my mood." She then attempted to push and hit the staff. This incident sparked online comments. One user remarked, "I can act uncivilized, but you can't criticize or punish me. The world truly has all kinds of people." Another shared a similar story from a Chinese friend who works as a tour guide in France. There, hotel rooms were left in disarray with leftover food dumped in unusual places. Another commenter joked, "At least these other incidents happened in China and didn't embarrass us abroad." The term Dama has become a viral expression, symbolizing a unique social phenomenon. But why has this group emerged specifically in modern-day China? To understand their behavior, it's essential to examine the social roots that shaped them. A commentary highlights that these women grew up during a time when traditional female values were labeled as reactionary and feudal, and Western norms were branded as reactionary and bourgeois. The CCP's Destroy the Four Olds campaign dismantled social traditions and morals, creating an era of Red Terror. People were compelled to conform to avoid persecution. The Cultural Revolution's slogan of "Destroy the old, establish the new" incited fear, driving people to lie and act irrationally under the guise of revolutionary values. Adolescent girls, naturally prone to emotional expression, found an outlet for this aggression in the revolution. These Dama grew up during these 10 years of turmoil without proper education. The society they grew up in lacked rules or moral standards. People focused on self-preservation, fearing the label of counter-revolutionary. Following the Cultural Revolution, Dama felt society owed them something, seeking compensation for lost youth. What younger generations see as unruly behavior, they view as justified personal freedom. When China embarked on reform and opening up, only a few Dama managed to enter university. Most returned to the cities, reveling in loud clothes, songs, and dances. Their youth lacked order, dominated only by Red Terror. When this control was lifted, they tried to seize the last remnants of their youth by turning their past repression into present indulgence. Who can Dama blame for their lost youth? One could point to the CCP regime, as individuals are often caught in the tide of history. During their formative years, they were molded by a society that valued ugliness as beauty, turning them into tough women. When society normalized, they longed to reclaim lost time. In short, since the CCP's rise to power, it has systematically eroded China's traditional culture and altered social etiquette through force. In a blog post titled, "From Nation of Etiquette to Poor Social Standards of Chinese," online writer Hong Ming laments, "For thousands of years, the Chinese nation was known as a nation of etiquette, admired by surrounding nations. But now, many say Chinese people lack social etiquette. I often feel a deep sorrow over this."